Whew. Hard work. You know, Nate, I don't see any other immigrants showing up here to help out.
I guess it's just going to be the Italian immigrants that's going to build this railroad across America.
I guess you're right. Let's get back to it. You know, being an Italian immigrant here in the United States, building this railroad, it's tough. Real tough.
Oh, you're telling me. Here, have some more coffee.
Thanks.
But you know what one of the pluses is building this railroad across America, we actually get to take part in making America great for the first time.
Ever felt like the world doesn't make sense? Like there's a hidden layer of reality just waiting to be uncovered? From the mysteries of the universe and mind-bending science theories to the strange patterns of human history and the whispers of hidden truths, we're here to question everything. Come fall down the Sado hole and see just how deep the rabbit hole goes, because the truth is often stranger than fiction.
Welcome to another episode of Down the Sado Hole. We've got a couple guests with us today, and our topic for this episode is going to be, I think, a little interesting. It is about the railroad. All right, let's
introduce them.
Yeah, well, we will. We're going to introduce them, but we're going to just see where this goes because we have no idea what we're going to talk about. But we'll see where it goes and see if we can kind of get down the hole a little bit. Okay, so we've got our two guests, Spencer and Douglas. And so let's start with Spencer.
Are you going to mention that our last name's Sado too?
Yeah, they're going to introduce themselves. See what I have to deal with. So Spencer's my younger brother, and this is my father, and they've both worked for the railroad. My dad is retired from the railroad, but let's let them So go ahead.
I'm Douglas Sado.
How long have you worked on the railroad for, Dad?
46 years I worked for him.
What was the first? What year did you start?
1968.
68.
Got a long time ago.
And how long have you worked for the railroad?
About 11 years.
11 years. What's the
2020 or 2014. I guess.
So the difference between your guys is, so I remember I went there for the railroad for a minute.
Oh yeah, Johnny worked for the railroad.
And I just remember like the training was about, I think it was 6 months. Is that how much it was? 6 months to 8 months, something like that. But Dad, I remember Dad said he only had like a day or like 3 hours.
3 days.
3 days of training? Yeah, to train.
We had 3 days.
Train on the train.
On the job training.
On the job training for 3 days, and then you went to work.
Yeah.
They
And
kept
how
an
long
eye
was your
on you.
training?
Same as Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like 6 or 7 months,
Yeah.
technically. Or
And then I went to the engineer program, which is another.
Oh yeah, that was
6 months,
another
yeah.
question I had is your occupation, because the railroad has different occupations within it, right? Or different job titles. And you went as your...
So yeah. So like I was an engineer. Dad was a brakeman.
Now, were you always a brakeman?
I was a brakeman, and once in a while they would make me a conductor, and I'd tell them I didn't want to, and they says, well, it's an emergency and you have to do it.
Was there different schooling for a conductor?
And then, well, they're the boss, and there's...
No, I meant like because you have to go for extra schooling for an engineer, right?
Yeah.
It's on top of
'Cause I drive-
regular railroad.
Yeah, I drive the train.
I
so
would
they
have to
just
take
train
a
me.
test, is all.
Oh, you just had to take a test.
I would have
okay.
had to take a
So a
written
conductor and a brakeman, they kind of have the same schooling.
Yeah.
A brakeman could be a conductor, essentially.
Most of them are, but they usually go to that. Then when I retired, I was what they call a remote control operator, and we ran the engines from a remote control.
Yeah, we're going to get into the technology changes over the years.
But what does that do though?
You drive the trains, you run the trains, make it go forward, backwards,
right.
faster, slower,
Is it
stop.
RCO? That's what it's called, RCO,
RCO,
right?
Remote
Yeah,
control.
yeah. Operator. Yeah.
Why did you get a job in the railroad? Like, what made you get a job in the railroad?
Went in and applied, and they took me. I had a friend that says, said that there's this good-looking woman taking applications down there. You ought to go put your name in. And I did it, and they hired me, and I loved the job and stayed.
Wow. But there was nothing like, were you a fan of the railroad as a kid? You know, sometimes nowadays kids are.
Well, tell us stories about you jumping on trains
it
when
was,
you didn't have tickets, Dad.
Yeah. It was, you know, all kids like trains. You know, that was one of probably the better part of our job is waving to the kids when we were going over crossings and stuff like that, because the kids love it. But when I was young, lived in Spokane, and I used to go to the ballpark, which was out of town a little ways, and the guys, we all see the train heading back into Spokane, and we decided that let's just, instead of paying money for a bus, let's just get on that train and go downtown and we'll walk home.
Are these like those box cars that just have the doors open?
Well, some of them had. We just ride the ladders.
Oh,
It was
okay.
only like, 4 or 5 miles, so
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Have you
going
ever
like 10
hopped a
minutes.
train?
I haven't hopped a train.
Outside of work?
No, not outside of work.
No, the right answer is not even at work.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
The best story is us three guys, or three of us, we decided to try to go further north so we didn't have such a long walk, because they were still going, 5, 6 miles an hour through town. And then it picked up speed, and pretty soon we were going 20, 25, and we had to jump, and we all got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And Spencer, did you have any other reason besides Dad being in the railroad to apply to go
Nope.
in the railroad?
Nope. That was it.
I wasn't sure.
And money.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people could be, because it's a good job.
Yeah.
And like, oh.
Good retirement.
Yeah.
Lot
All
of
that
things.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so what about, do each of you have like a crazy story, like or most memorable day on the rail? Obviously, you've had a lot of more days than him on the railroad, but like your most memorable day working on the railroad. Could be something crazy or just something like super beautiful you happen to have seen, or.
Well, I don't know. One of the ones that I liked was we worked over the Rockies going east up the hill. You're going slow. The engines are pulling hard. You're only going about 8, 10, 12 miles an hour. And they had a big grain spill years and years before I was there. And all the grain fermented, and I was riding the caboose, and the conductor turns the spotlight, which we had on the caboose, around ahead of watching the train, and you could where the grain spill was, and all of a sudden you seen a bunch of ice and grizzly bears, and they're all starry-eyed, and they're getting fermented too.
Oh, they love that
A bunch
spell.
of drunk
Yeah.
grizzly bears. Spencer?
Going through Bellingham one time, I saw a couple orcas. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the only time I've actually seen a whale. You see seal, at least on the coastline, you see a lot of seals and eagles and things like that. But it's the only time I've actually seen whales before.
Yeah, and it's weird that out of all the times that you possibly could have seen a whale in the Pacific Northwest is when you're on a train.
I know, right? Yep, that was the only time. Yep.
All right, let's look into maybe how things have changed over the years with the railroad. I'm sure they have quite a lot. I mean,
Yeah, why is the reason we don't have cabooses anymore?
Money.
Yeah, that's true.
And Fred's.
I think the trains were getting so long. When I first hired out, there was only like 40, 50 cars on a train. So the people from the head end could look back, and the conductor could look forward to see if there's any hot boxes on the wheels, which was all, they'd light a fire, and you didn't want any fires out in the woods. And I think they got too long. They decided to get rid of the cabooses and put what they call a Fred on there. But we had cabooses for many years. The only time that they'd have a caboose is on locals where they did a lot of work.
They still have some cabooses out there.
do either of you know what Fred stands for?
Fucking rear end device. I'm not actually sure.
That's what you guys call it.
We were all together on this.
So they completely got rid of the cabooses, and now the cabooses, people they sell them off, and people
Yeah.
turn them into tiny homes and.
I mean, also, I mean, the goal of the caboose, you could.
Is that like a break room? I always thought it would be like a break room.
No, well, you have the brakes from the head end and then the rear end.
Yeah.
And they kind of meet in the middle, so you could also stop a train.
Stop the
faster.
train or slower. Yeah.
But then with the Fred, you can do it automatically from the front.
Okay. Kind of
From
remotely.
the locomotive, yeah.
And what about communication over a period of time? Because I think we talked actually earlier, and you had mentioned that there was no radios when you started with the railroad.
On the engines, they would talk to the dispatchers that
big
were
radios.
in Fort Worth and stuff like that, and get permission to go on a track and stuff like that. We also had train orders that we had to obey as we went out. They would say, "You got to get into this siding by such and such a time because there's a train coming." So
But like, did you have an individual walkie-talkie?
not for years. It was probably 3, 4, 5 years before. Then
So if you
our
wanted to
radios were
ask
they,
somebody
they came in
something.
kind of a big box like a telephone. And
Oh.
we had to wrap it around our neck, and and it was kind of hard, getting on and off the side of cars, with
Yeah.
all this stuff. And
Like,
Well, I remember hand signals that you used to do all the time. I remember one engineer telling me a hand signal one time on how to take a break, or maybe you did. Like, we're going to take a break and eat someplace, and it was all hand signals. Nothing was on a radio.
so it was covertly, you went back to analog in order to get around technology.
Like the old way of doing hand
yeah,
signals in
we
the
had
daytime.
a lot of hand signals when I hired out. Yeah, it was everything from numbers to letters to tracks, and you want to go to the main line and you cut in the air, dump the air, and it was lots of things we had to learn just with the signal from our either hands or our lantern.
Do you guys still do hand signals? And
We do.
I know you guys learn them. I just wasn't sure how often they're actually used out in the field.
And you can, you definitely want people to use hand signals because you do get in trouble. It's the easiest way to get in trouble is over the radio. And so if you're saying the wrong things, wrong car counts where you're trying to like back in. So you want people to use hand signals. But a lot of people are uncomfortable with them for some reason nowadays. I feel like a lot of the new guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it less and less? Because I remember the old timers always telling us that we use it less than they do.
Yeah, as an
And
engineer,
then-
and as an engineer, like you always want people as much
Yeah.
as you can. You want them to use, cause especially if they're only
you can
3
stop.
cars back. It's to me, it's safer and
Yeah.
it's easier to use hand signals than us both trying to communicate on the radio.
Like when I hired out, you had to use hand signals because we had no walkie-talkies, And if we had a lot of cars, like 40 or 50 cars, one guy would get on the top of the car that's right next to the engine so the engineer could see him. And then another guy would be in the middle, and then the other guy would be on the very end of the car. And you pass signals to each other if you have to slow down, stop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did that a lot.
Isn't that how you? So let's say the guy was on the other side of the train compared to the engineer. Is that what the fireman would go over and like relay messages to the?
You'd be on top.
Is that how that would be?
You'd be
Oh,
on
he'd
the-
be on top.
So the fireman's on top?
No, the fireman wouldn't be on top. The engineer, the guy that's on top would be on a running board in the middle of the train, and the engineer could see him.
Oh, okay. I see what
Okay,
you're talking
yeah.
about.
I see.
And then, as the signals were passed, he'd pass it to the engineer.
Oh, that's correct. So how would you take into? So you have to be just really quick with the hand signals, I guess, as you're moving.
Well, you see him; he goes like this. We're going to slow down or
Yeah,
something.
I
like
guess
that.
everybody's in the.
Everybody's
starting
doing
to
the
get in
same thing, right?
starting to
Yeah,
get
you're
the
all-
rhythm of it.
And
Like
we're
guy in the
all-
rear end's doing the same.
Yeah,
thing
Yeah,
as the
you're
guy.
getting in the rhythm. I
You're
get it.
seeing, the.
You're not passing
repetition.
along. You're
Yeah.
just kind of mimicking what he's doing.
Exactly.
There might be a crossing coming up,
I
and he
see.
says, "Easy right now," so you
Yeah.
your hand goes slower. So it's just.
I have another question. It's probably mostly for you because you probably have just always had it. But I was curious about how the railroad has changed gender-wise. Like when you started out, was there a lot of female railroaders?
No, there was only 1 or 2 that when I was around. Maybe a few, but definitely getting a lot more now.
Yeah, and I was kind of curious if you kind of know what the percentage is now.
I do not. But there's probably more than when Dad was. But there's still very few, to be
Still
honest.
very few.
would
Okay, I
say,
was just kind
yeah.
of curious if it was a.
I mean, a percent. I would say. I mean,
I mean, some
I would
could
say
probably
it's
look up, but
1%.
I would say, yeah, 1%.
That's Johnny's job to look that up, but
Yeah.
What?
I said that's Johnny's job to
I'll
look
look
those
it
stats
up.
up.
I do feel, I
look it
mean,
up right
in my
now.
opinion, it's got to be less than 5%.
I'll look it up. I'll let you guys know. It's
gotta be less than
Not very
5%.
many, that's for sure.
And another thing is, which I know has changed over the years, is safety protocols on the railroad. Because you used to always talk about how you could do all sorts of stuff back in the day, and now you get in trouble for that kind of stuff.
I could tell you a funny story about Dad, since
Sure,
he doesn't
yeah.
work there anymore. But I worked with Dad a couple times, I think. And I remember one of the times I worked with him, so we'd be like coming into a hook, you know, putting cars.
Speak layman terms.
I know, I was trying to.
1.4%.
1.4% of women.
Currently-
The ones that 24% for the entire workforce working the grounds. You know, like working.
Oh, well, that's all. I was just kind of curious. So those are people
trainmen.
like admin people in
Admins,
office
everybody,
and stuff.
24% in the workforce. But if they're doing the
Clerk.
T-Whiny.
TMI, they're 1.4%. I mean, that's what it says. I don't know if it's true.
I mean, that's what I kind of thought. I figured it would be less than
Interesting.
5%.
I mean, I
Dispatching
figured
and-
you'd know, like, as far as you know, I see one out of every,
I feel like
100 people.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I feel like out of like Everett, I feel like I can count 7.
That's like going with the engineers. Is 1.4% of local of engineers are women.
Yeah.
Women.
Seems about
As
right.
of 10 years
Seems
ago.
about right.
So back to safety.
Oh yeah, so funny story about Dad.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So yeah, so I was a student on the railroad, student conductor, and Dad was training me, and I thought it was pretty funny. So like I just got out of like the rules class and everything. Like this is like how you're supposed to do things, and then Dad's training me. But obviously, Dad's like ready to retire, and also he's been working for 40 some odd years, and so like we're coming into a hook, and like the hook's not quite gonna meet, and so Dad just gets right in the middle and kicks it with his foot to line it up, which is 100% against the rule, and like just different things. There was a couple other things, and he's like, just let you know, like I can retire any time. This isn't what you should be doing, but this is just how.
That's what I was gonna say. It's been long enough. He knows the rules.
Yeah, he knows the rules, but obviously this is an easier way of doing it. Like this is a smarter way of doing it.
Well, but okay, now that's a rule because of safety, I'm sure, right?
Well, I'm assuming usually how those rules work is somebody used their foot to put those in, and then
Lost a
obviously
foot.
they lost their leg.
They slipped and hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Which I guess that would, because I remember you telling stories back in the day of sometimes people get injured on the railroad, like especially
It
people
happens
hopping
a lot.
on and off and
Yeah.
or going in between cars and stuff. I'm guessing those. Well, I guess that would be a question.
Oh, tell us how many
is-
hobos have you guys come across?
Do you think the rules are good?
Well, they're good as far as safety.
But not efficiency.
Not for making
Not
money.
efficiency, yeah.
Yeah, that I have found from the time that I started, we used to switch a lot of cars and get trains made up faster. With all the rules they got now, I don't know how they make money. I mean, it's so slow.
Okay, I guess that brings it. I mean, I know it's not completely railroad related, but it would be that question of how many injuries or deaths are okay in order to make it more efficient.
I was at a union meeting.
Especially if you happen to be that 1% that
That gets hurt.
loses their leg because of lack in safety.
Well, I've known people that have got killed on the railroad because lack of safety.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
not
Whether
just
it's
one
their
person.
safety or
I don't remember
probably remember maybe 5 or 6 deaths
yeah.
that I knew. So
I
And then
don't.
plus, I'm sure a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I
I don't remember the number, but we brought it up at the union meeting, and I wish I remember the number. This is just a couple months ago, and it was hilarious. In a bad way, like this. I don't know if that's a good.
Let's hear it.
It was how many guys got hurt on the railroad in like 1992.
Yeah.
It was like just a single year, and it was ridiculous. It was like
A huge amount.
But I wonder
it was
what
in the
kind-
thousands.
But what kind of injuries are
No,
there?
but
go ahead.
compared to like now,
Yeah.
like the reportable injuries from 2025, which was like, I don't know, 13 or something, to the reportable injuries in 1992 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like 16,000.
Wow.
I didn't even feel like I thought it was like, oh, is that the decade? I was like, nope, that was just 1 year. It was, I don't remember what
Big
the number
difference,
was.
though.
It
Massive.
was a crazy difference. Yeah.
I can see that.
And that's
the
why-
there was a lot of safety rules.
Oh, well, and it doesn't.
Yeah, which is
Not
good.
only it helps the guys, from being safe. I mean, nobody wants to get hurt. Yeah, but also the money that the railroad saved, because of all the lawsuits.
All the
Oh
lawsuits.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because anytime
because-
somebody gets hurt, they got to pay out stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So with all of that, we talked about technology and I guess a little bit of like railroad culture and stuff and safety changes over the years. I was just kind of curious if you think the railroad was better back when you started versus when you retired.
I think it's probably safer now than when I hired.
But what about more enjoyable?
Not as fun.
As far as you.
It's not as fun. And I don't even know what it's like now. I can't.
Yeah, because you've been retired for a while.
I've been 11 years or so. I just the change went so fast for 10 or 12 years. I can't imagine what the last 10 or 12 years went.
It's also hard to like compare because obviously like I wasn't around in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So like I have nothing to compare to. Like I've never been at a job where you could drink. I've never been at a job.
Well, were you able to drink when you guys first hired
It
on?
was against the rule. We would never do something like that.
No, I know. I mean, I'm sure there's people that currently. I mean, I hope not.
A lot
but
of
I'm sure
people, drank every day.
drank. Yeah.
I mean, drank every day,
Well, that's kind of like the military. You used to
like a
do,
bottle.
Used to be able to drink at lunch and all that kind of stuff. And
No,
now they
this
don't.
wasn't at lunch.
Yeah. It's while working.
as you're working, yeah.
I could tell you a story that when I worked in Everett, we had no bosses up there. I was the foreman on the job, which kind of helped. And then, anyway, and we could see anybody coming down to our place because the road was long, and we had a little shack down there, and we could see anybody coming. Well, we had at least a bottle of 100 proof bourbon every day on the job and a case of beer. Every day. Never missed a day. And
So that was for you. What did everybody else?
I did make a lot of money on that job.
we seen a train master coming in the yard, so the bottle goes into the garbage. We're in the caboose, and he goes in the garbage, and he comes up, how things going, And this is how it was way back when. Okay, I need a drink. Can you get me a drink? And then we'd have to go to the
Yeah.
and make him a drink because everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people would like to have a drink. now and
Partake.
then, Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet that was crazy.
All right. I was kind of curious if you guys have maybe because you're kind of in that culture, if there's any like stories more on the like haunted railroad cars or haunted tracks or any
The only haunting I ever had
scary
was
routes or
is if I'm like middle of the dark out walking between the cars in the yard. It's dark and hell, and some guy pops up behind me and says, "You got a cigarette?" I'm ready to hit him with my lantern because he come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's it.
yeah, I guess running into train hoppers, right?
Yeah, you run
yes.
into people in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely a weird feeling.
I've got on the engine.
Yeah, because you're like, what are they doing
Yeah,
out
well,
here?
yeah, expecting them, I'm sure.
I've even had it, and it scared me getting off in the middle of nowhere. And I'm walking back. This is when I was a conductor, and I'm walking back towards the train to check something out. And it was two girls, which scared the bejesus out of me. But they just hopped off because I think they got scared of me, is my guess.
Yeah,
But
there you go. He's walking
hopped
back
off,
here to get us.
and I'm like in the middle of nowhere, and I scream, they scream, everybody's screaming.
They're like,
Did you
"Oh."
actually talk to them? Did you say?
No, they ran away.
Oh, they ran away.
They ran away immediately.
Say you scared me.
Yeah.
I just figured once they heard that you were a girl, that they would have been like, "Oh, it's okay, it's
Exactly.
just a girl." And how much automation is on the? Like, you probably know this. Like, do you guys do a lot of automation now?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know there's been talk that like certain jobs on the railroad and stuff are kind of like they used to have multiple people do a job, and now they don't need that.
They've gotten rid of almost every brakeman in the Northwest.
Really?
In this past
Oh, so
year.
Dad couldn't even go back to work if he wanted to.
No. Almost every brakeman in the Northwest is probably gone now.
Well, I
Almost.
don't know if they could have got rid of me though, because I was a protected employee.
Yeah, you guys are all gone.
All the protected guys are. Mm-hmm. The crew consist agreement was thrown out.
Yeah, so there's no brakeman only anymore.
Wow.
So
But is there brakeman jobs?
no, you
Not
have to
at
be a
all.
conductor. Yeah. At this point,
Well,
I think there
remember-
might be one or two in the Northwest, to be honest, but they're very few. I mean, they're getting rid of them. They're going to be gone.
That was the plan.
Everybody's so old now because I think the crew consist was back in 1983 or something
Yeah.
like that.
So it's pretty, almost everything's going to conductor, engineer only, and then
So how do they do in switches? Still same switch crews though?
yeah. So in Everett,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same because there's more RCO, like you were saying earlier, and so there'll be a conductor, a foreman, and a helper. But then Seattle, which isn't a big fan of the remote control engines, they're engineer and foreman only. So everything's just taking
Yeah.
a lot longer, but they don't seem to care. So
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
eventually that's going to be all. That's a
automated.
different topic, but a lot of jobs are going to go to the wayside.
oh, totally.
With automation
and even
AI.
even like even over the road, right? Is engineer and conductor, and like they're trying. I know there's parts of the country, or they're trying to test like a 0 to 0 technology,
Really?
where a train will start and then end at its destination.
Oh, so you don't have to have any human
without
interaction.
anybody. But I think what they're trying to do though is obviously there's a million problems right now. There's no way they could do it, especially in our.
Well, especially between point A and point B. Like, what if somebody runs onto the? Well, I guess you can slow it down anyways. The train, you wouldn't be able to slow it down.
You
in
can
time,
usually.
but- oh, okay.
I mean, it depends.
The main reason is
Say, or a tree falls down, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the
crossing.
crossing.
There's like to me, there's like no way that might work in the middle of nowhere in Texas. That's going 300 miles, and there's
Yeah.
literally nobody that lives there. But especially like in our neck of the woods, in the Northwest, it doesn't seem like that's possible. But we do a couple of technologies. There's Trip Optimizer and there's PTC. So Trip Optimizer runs the train.
Yeah.
Like you kind of press a button and then it goes and it does its thing, but it doesn't know how to like do everything once like you get to like you're trying to go into a siding or you're obviously trying to stop, but it knows all like the slow orders and how to get places.
Well, and also, I mean, who's to prevent train robbers?
No, that is actually a big thing because
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows, but train robbery is huge right now.
Yeah,
Huge.
I've heard that too.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Huge. Oh, it's actually like the biggest it's ever
They're
been.
just not on horses.
Correct. They're,
Well, how do
Yeah, they
they?
do
How do they
semi-trucks.
it's like
and stuff.
it's like Fast and the
Fast and
Furious,
Furious.
man.
Oh, is it okay?
I remember Tyler telling me about that.
Oh, it's actually crazy right now, and it's
Yeah.
because I think one of the problems is obviously there's no trains that are 45 cars anymore. There's
all
like
hundreds, yeah.
They're 200 car trains.
Yeah.
So nobody even knows that their train's getting because you just pull into a
Oh, yeah,
siding.
especially
and
if
you-
they're just doing the
yeah.
the
You
lack
pull into a
factor.
siding and you park for 2 hours or 3 hours or 7 hours, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
40 of those cars on the rear end are.
So do you think you're parked there for a reason? They knew you were going to be parked there, and then they caused.
No, they're
the-
prepared. I mean, we park all the time because
Oh, so
a lot
they
of
just have
they
to
just wait.
yeah, a lot of it's a single track, and then obviously there's like 14 trains trying to get through, so you have to.
Does the railroad do security on what's on trains?
yeah, they know. What do you mean? I mean, they know what's
Well,
on the train.
No, I know. And the railroad, as far as security, as in not releasing publicly what they're carrying per.
Yeah, they're
trip.
not supposed to. Yeah, but
I mean, I guess you get somebody on the inside that would say, "Hey,
Yeah.
this has got a bunch of
You have a conductor that
Ferraris
just
on it
texts
or
somebody.
something." I don't know if you guys.
Hey, I'm
transport
pulling into the
cars,
siding right
but-
now.
vehicles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we transport vehicles
Yeah.
like crazy.
So I would imagine stuff like that would be the stuff that
Yeah.
you'd probably want to steal.
I know it's hard to know. The easy ones are the big container ones, and they're just full of TVs or
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what's
yeah.
in them.
And so
remember
it's like
that.
it's all of a sudden it has a big Amazon on the side, and it's like
All these
Yeah.
we'll take that one. I know there's
Everybody's Christmas presents.
everybody's Christmas presents. But there are if you have like a high priority train, I've had this a few times. You have like a military train
Yeah.
or something like that. You will have like officers follow you the whole
You
way.
have security.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask
that's what I
earlier.
thought you were
was,
trying to get
was
to.
Like any like high profile. If you've been on any high profile
I've been on-
transports where,
I've been on a train that's full of tanks.
okay.
And so it was going to Fort
Lewis?
Fort Lewis, yeah. And it was just full of tanks.
What about nuclear warheads?
Yeah, so we do have I don't know if they're nuclear warheads, but they're.
I saw it in the movie.
They probably are.
I have had cars that because we do have like a special like code on the car that says it's like nuclear.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever.
Radioactive.
Radioactive, yeah. So I don't know what's actually in there,
That's
but
Data's name on Star Trek Consideration in one episode. Your name's radioactive.
do you bring that up in every podcast?
I try to. I haven't actually.
One.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Just wait until we do a whole episode. All right, let's move on. How about like a little speed round of just asking you guys some random questions? Like, do you guys happen to, now you guys might probably don't even know that much about trains, even working for the railroad. If you had like, is there different trains, different engines? And can you tell the difference? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, actually, I have a question right now.
Let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear it.
I know.
You just don't have to announce it.
It's going on in my head, and I don't know where it's coming from. But since you're an engineer, how do modern trains work?
I should know this.
Since you're an engineer. I mean, I know how the old steam trains used to work.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I think they use steam.
They use steam.
And water.
Thank you. Yes.
The boiler.
A big
Pressure.
billow of smoke came out the
Pressure.
top, and it just went.
Newer locomotives. I mean, in the past 50 years, are kind of like the first like a hybrid. So most locomotives now they're like 12 cylinder. I mean, they use fuel just like an engine.
Well, I wasn't sure if that like, do they use like jet fuel or?
I think it's diesel.
Oh, diesel. I wasn't sure if the railroad
diesel
creates their
they're
own
they're like
fuel
diesel
specifically
electric,
for
yeah.
trains or something.
Yeah, and then like a brand new locomotive usually has like 4,400 horsepower. Is like a brand new one for like the road service. And then, I mean, they work just like how you would think, I guess. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite engine as an engineer?
Probably,
I'm imagining you.
Most
You
of
have
them-
to come across a lot of engines all the time.
I mean,
That's what
there's
assumed,
like
too.
for the engine. I think there's pretty much just like two makers that do like the actual engine of it, and it's like EMD and GE are the
Okay.
two for like the locomotives.
They're the makers of it.
Yeah, for like the actual.
Do they have any
engine part.
microwaves or hot plates in them yet?
Canadians do.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, Canadians have microwaves usually and hot plates. I think we do not. You gotta
See, my vision of you is you're like Geordie LaForge on Enterprise, and the engine's your baby.
Yeah, I'm just a little smarter than him, but it's exactly my life. Yeah.
And Dad's saying, "Give me more. I need more power."
Look at all the guys that wanted to eat on the trains. You know, they use the heaters on the side. These guys were actually
Oh, yeah.
You used
they
to
were
do that, didn't
chefs.
you?
I never actually.
were-
I was not a big fan of the side heater, which a lot of guys were a big fan.
Yeah.
I preferred to cook my food on the actual engine itself, so I always brought my stuff back to.
What was a typical meal you made?
I mean, I was mostly leftovers.
Oh, just heat them up.
Yeah,
just warm
to
up,
heat 'em
microwave.
up. I know there was like
weren't cooking
there
hot
was
dogs.
there was like full on cookbooks where
Oh,
you could like put a steak a certain way and cheeseburgers and everything. But
Imagine on the cabooses. They,
Oh, I
them
bet.
Guys, them guys had steaks back there
Yep.
and cook them right on top of the stove.
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that big stove back there and a couple of them.
Okay, another question for you. What's your best route that you've ever done, or the most scenic trip you've taken on a train?
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones. I suppose the High Line going from Whitefish to Havre, going over the Rockies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow, that'd be cool.
And was this when you were? Was this when we were living in Whitefish?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been pretty. What about you?
I go back and forth. It's either probably like from Sumas to Everett. I was a big fan of that run for a long time. But to be honest, the one I'm on now, which is like the sound just from Everett to Seattle, you're on the Puget Sound the whole time,
Oh yeah.
and so all you see is mountains and the
Yeah.
Puget Sound all day long.
Yeah.
That's all I'm. So it's
Beautiful.
You see the
Yeah.
beaches, yeah.
That's like, oh, and then you're going by all these multi-million-dollar houses, and they're
Yeah.
paying me to go right in front of them.
Another question, because I know we've talked about, or you guys have told stories in the past, but because the railroad's kind of like the military and stuff, where they have like nicknames and stuff for
acronyms.
coworkers. No, for coworkers and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
What's the funniest coworker nickname that you can remember somebody had. I think I know what yours might be.
It might be. I don't know. Maybe you know. I don't know. I know the one that popped into my head.
Oh, I know one that popped into my head when I thought of the question was based off of something you had told me of one of your.
My favorite is Paul.
Paul?
Yeah, and his name was Paul, and it was the color of his face because he had like a purple face, and it was one of my favorite ones.
God.
Couple. Mine, what I was thinking for you was meat pockets.
Oh, I almost forgot about meat
Pockets,
pockets. That was back when I was in engineer school. Yeah, and yeah, he would show up halfway through the day, and I still remember him. And we would have showed up obviously like in training at 7 or 8 in the morning, and then come 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he'd just pull a cheeseburger out of his pocket, and he'd start eating it, and I'm like.
Why would he have meat pockets?
And then exactly. And then the other pocket, he'd just have a steak. Another day.
Damn.
And he just always had some sort of meat in his pockets in the halfway just for a late night snack or late afternoon snack.
Meat pockets.
Yeah,
And so he was meat pockets, and he never lost that. That's for sure.
Dad, do you have any coworkers nicknames that you guys used to call somebody? Maybe they didn't know that was their nickname, but.
I don't think so. I mean, I called somebody names, but
All right. Let's see if we have any final thoughts, Johnny. Any
I don't know. No.
final thoughts? Would you recommend working for the railroad?
Well, okay. Do you think it's going to be a job that people would have in the next 20 years?
Nope.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
I can see them getting rid of engineers.
I
To
could
be
too, yeah.
honest, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously.
Maybe even 10 years. At the way it's going. Do you think? I mean, have they been pushing that technology really hard too?
I think the goal, obviously the technology is going to be there at some point with AI
sure.
and all that stuff. But I think the goal would be to be like pilots. Like I think everybody's going to want a pilot on there for like a just in case situation, and so that's kind of like in the law, is like pilots should run their plane. I don't think that's how you say it, but drive their train or their plane or whatever. Fly their plane for like, I think they have like a percentage that they're supposed to fly at like 5% or something like that, just so they keep sharp. I think my guess is that's where it's going to go. I think conductors are going to be gone within the next 5 to 10 years, probably. I mean, it sucks, but I think that's probably
just how it
the
is.
case. Hopefully not.
I mean, all the tech people and
I know
programmers are going.
And hopefully we'll just maybe like verge into like the same thing. Really, is hopefully what they'll do. But then hopefully, like in the engineer wise, is their goal is to still have an engineer on a train for a situation. Honestly, like stopping it for somebody.
Yeah.
Like if there's a kid in the middle of the rail, like I don't think there's no way that they're gonna be able to stop or at least slow it down for the kid, because sometimes you don't even stop. But the slowing it down will let the person get out of the way or something, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously, that's like the big.
Not like
They
you
have to
stop- you
think about-
Yeah, it's not like you have to stop and you've been saved. It's like sometimes just waiting that
I
extra
could see
second.
seeing the train going slower and slower to you
exactly.
would make you think like this is going to hurt worse than I thought.
Well,
It's going really slow.
So I'm hopefully that's kind of where it's going to go, because I remember like one of the craziest ones for me. Which I like in my brain, I was like, this makes sense that somebody should be on a train. Was I was taking a train from Portland north to Seattle, and we had a big old grain train. We were going fast. We were coming around a corner. Dispatcher says, "Hey, just to let you know, there's we got reports of a kid playing on the tracks," and so we it was weird because she gave us the milepost that's behind us. So we're like, well, we already passed it, no big deal. But as we come around the corner, like right after we got off the radio, we come around the corner and we see the little kid, and we're going 50 miles an hour in a super heavy train, and so we're getting closer and we start doing the horn and everything, and I slowly start slowing down, and I realize this kid is just twirling on he's dancing like on the rail and just having the time of his life. I'm like this, and I think he was like special needs or whatever, and so like as we're getting closer, I'm like this kid ain't moving.
Yeah.
So we put it in emergency, put all the brakes on, and obviously I wasn't going to stop in time or anything. But as we come in, I look up, probably like an idiot because I want to see what's about to happen because I want just to see if we're gonna hit this
yeah.
kid, right? And so I go up and I go like this, and then I miss him. Like I didn't see him. Like I assumed we hit him because he goes under the hood, and then I had a lady conductor and she starts bawling, and then but then I realized the kid's running around, so he must have got out of the way. The last quarter of a second, and
I wish you hit him now.
Yeah, I know.
Was he still
honest.
playing?
He was. He didn't have a care in the world. I don't know what was going on with that kid. Like I said, I think he was like special needs.
Yeah.
Is what he, because I looked right in his eyes. It's weird.
Yeah.
And he was literally just dancing on the rail. So I don't know what he was doing, but
Ate some
he looked like he
mushrooms.
was. Yeah, maybe
Found some
he
mushrooms
did.
you
Yeah.
shouldn't have.
But anyways, it was like that situation, like where I did put it into emergency. We did do all the brakes, and obviously we didn't stop for another half a mile or whatever. But maybe that little bit where we slowed down, it kind of reminds me is like that little bit maybe got him out of the way. I don't know.
It all helps.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering if the safety feature on AI is if it picks up like a person on the track, it just stops.
Well, it probably will, but again, you're driving a big train, so
No, I'm just wondering like how.
won't always be able to stop, but it'll
is
still
it-
have sensors.
No, I'm
that-
just
But
saying,
is it going to
is it
want to?
efficient?
Why would it? Why would it though?
it's only going to do what you program it.
I
That's
know.
what I mean,
Until
though.
it becomes
What's the
sentient.
program
But
going
why
to
would
say?
why would they change that program? Like we're getting this train over. That's because that's the thing. That's like,
I would be worried
That's
about,
the one
like,
thing.
that's
That's a different conspiracy.
Well, that's the one of the
That
things.
payment,
Like
I've
250
never grand to the family is probably worth it.
Yeah, because that's the thing I've never liked about like the remote control locomotives or whatever. Like you and
Yeah.
Dad used to run, and they have these remote control zones. To me, it make no sense because like. What's to stop like a little kid playing on the track and you're just running over the little kid?
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Back and forth. And you just keep running over this little kid, right? Like in my opinion, that literally makes no sense that can happen. But obviously they were like, well, it's private property. It's that little kid's fault.
And that's how they look at it.
And that's how they look at it. So in my opinion, when that technology does come, they ain't changing that. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we're trying to get all this freight
they'll
over the
program
railroad.
it in, unless
You're on private property. That's the
Well-
railroad's property.
Trying to
actually
figure out how
the
they're gonna
AI will probably know who's on the track on whether they should hit them or
They
not.
should.
It'll
probably will,
run a
yeah.
Is
whole
somebody
list
who's
on.
important?
Wait a minute, that was a dog.
Yeah. This dog. Keep it here.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on the podcast episode.
So excited.
Talking about railroads.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. It was good stories. Good stories. Well, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment, and see you next time, I guess.
All right. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this dive down the Sado hole, make sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think. For updates and bonus content, join our email list at downthesadohole.com. Got a strange theory or wild topic you want us to explore? Send it our way. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning everything.